You know, it was actually really funny because I saw this video and I thought it was utterly ridiculous, only for it to end up being, I can't call it prophetic, he didn't predict it, but he was calling for it, the banning of Sneako. Now, there are numerous elements in this video that are hilarious, but I think one of the more dangerous things still is the fact that he was able to accomplish what he wanted, not through virtue, grit, doing anything righteous or good for the world, but through self-righteous indignation and pretending to not understand jokes, context, and just general, for lack of a better term, headassery. Or immaturity might be a much better word to use there. So, before we get into our main topic, let's discuss this call to action here. So this guy, I don't know his name and I didn't commit it to memory because I don't care, made a video where he was saying that we need to ban Sneako. He got his wish. This video was uploaded about a month or so ago. This is how it starts off.
Hey, this is not going to be a normal video. Today I want to briefly talk about the content creator Sneako.
Now I'm just going to pause right there. Listen, I understand, I know, that if I wasn't 6'1", with some broad shoulders and this beard, I probably wouldn't look incredibly masculine. Ironically, I just labeled all of the different aspects that make a man look masculine. But anyway, maybe it might be rich coming from someone with my voice and even my politics, one would say, my philosophies, my values, to say that that is hilariously funny to me. That the person asking is a real mousy new male who I'm certain would be fine with his girlfriend being on OnlyFans. Now, I've meant to make videos talking about men of this character. That's for some time now. It's more collecting the material and getting strong arguments that's been the challenge there. But I am not surprised that it is someone of such persuasion, as one would say, who would ask for Sneako to be banned. Let us continue, though. It wasn't fair for me to just judge him based on the way he looked. Let's listen to what he says.
Sneako and ask YouTube to ban him from the platform. I'm going to keep this video really short because I just want to say my piece and give Sneako and his fans as little ammunition to fire back as possible, because we know that every time someone utters his name on YouTube, he feels the need to make 5 videos crying about women and society or whatever.
Again, the dismissiveness and the self-righteousness of these type of men is something I find oh so incredibly irksome. Pretending that Sneako doesn't have a point or doesn't have merit in the things he's saying, despite his hilarious levels of immaturity and silliness, which we'll get into, don't worry, is annoying to me. Mostly, not just, I can use the idea of missing the forest for the trees, but pretending that an argument make or a counter-argument it make to point out the fact that someone is doing something silly or saying something silly to obfuscate from the fact that whatever conclusion they came to is derived from some type of experience or truth they or someone else has experienced. These people are typically very dismissive, and I don't think that you can really grow as a person without actually challenging ideas that are not your own. It's okay to dismiss some things that are just blatantly absurd and untrue, like saying the earth is flat. But it's not okay when there are thousands of people who are remarking the same similar experience when dealing with women to then say that there's just something wrong with them. They all experience the same thing in different environments at different points in their life, but somehow it's all just them. Do they all synchronize on the same no good nigga metric, the no good nigga force? Is that what happened? Is that how they all experience this? Or maybe there might be something culturally going on. There's no way to really get to any answer to that conclusion if we decide to dismiss this outright. And more importantly than that, there's no way to really reach a good, strong conclusion or ways to find solutions if we just ban people who even discuss it. But it is a bit more nuanced to that, which we'll get into. Anyway, he'll continue.
And before we begin, I do want to say that most of the time I don't believe that deplatforming someone is the proper way to deal with a controversy. Now, a little over a month ago, Sneako went on his live stream to talk about one of my friends, Chad, who gave me permission to make this video, but had no part in the creation of it, and it wasn't her idea or suggestion for me to make this.
Now, one thing I find particularly interesting about that little tidbit of information here is these people who lean on the non-binary distaste for traditionalism. They dislike traditional gender roles. You have a young lady wiping her hands clean of her own dirty work by utilizing one of her male friends, who is, dare I would say, a little bit more proactive than she is. Women using men be a tale as old as time. I just find it interesting that no matter how liberal these people become, that immutable truth of the world never changes, now does it? I mean, if Chad was indeed so offended by what we were going to see, why didn't she say it? And more than that, why do we need so many different qualifiers to kind of separate her from this, despite the fact that you just said that she gave you her approval? Anyhow, continue.
Reacted to a video she made about a TikTok dating coach, and I'm just going to play the video here so nothing can be left out of context, but I am going to issue a huge content warning for sexual assault, so if that's something that you're uncomfortable with in any way, I would leave the video now.
You know what's so funny about the internet? It hides the fact, and like this feminist garbage hides the fact that she's attracted to that guy making the videos. It is what it is. Girls, you could vouch for it. You know it's true. She would. She would. And you know what's true? What's so predictable? You could tell by the way she's talking that she hasn't been properly in a long time. It's been a while. So she's on the internet making this garbage video, promoting all this feminist garbage to your fucking lonely girls in the comment section. What you really need, Chad, is some yeah, shut up with your feminism. Yeah, come here. That's what you need. And she's gonna go, that's what you need. You need some sense fuck back into you. And you know what they're gonna do right after I did that? They're gonna clip that part and say I'm an incel problematic, but you know it's true.
I mean, he wasn't wrong. Which does beg an interesting question. If you knew they were going to do that, Sneako, why would you give them the bloody ammunition? Why? Why do it? Why, brother? Why? Anyway, so, hilariously immature. But, might be a little bit of truth in it. Might be, just a little bit. That maybe Chad's opinions of this stuff are colored by the fact that she's not able to have good relationships with men. Now, of course, particularly the more immature and untoward part of that is she hasn't had some really good sex in a minute. Sure. But the grander point really being is that women that don't have relationships with men kind of will probably always have a awful colored view of them and probably won't have the most charitable opinions or charitable look at the plights of men, their opinions and how they feel, which is a little bit obvious. I think that would be the case if you just don't really have friends of different persuasions to begin with. Sneako's way of interpreting or portraying this point, again, hilariously immature, and he probably shouldn't have done it probably for this very reason. But despite the fact that it's immature, and despite the fact that even the people in his chat probably weren't fine with this joke, I want you to look at the way that this was interpreted by our new male here.
I think I have to explain why this is disgusting. Sneako is harassing a female content creator, telling her that the reason why she's so upset is because she hasn't had sex in a while, and then he proceeds to aggressively simulate a sexual assault on Chad in his live stream in front of thousands of people.
Now, of course, I have to explain that rough sexual encounter, not a sexual assault, make. I'm certain. It's not just that I'm 100% certain that what he simulated was her having rough sex with someone she's attracted to. If anything, he's saying in less eloquent terms that Chad is at war with herself. On the one hand, she says consciously that this is gross and terrible behavior, and it would never work on her. However, she probably would have multiple stories of how it did indeed work on her. Now, I don't know Chad personally, but I have encountered lots of ladies of her archetype. And by archetype, I mean people who are similar to her. Because as it turns out, people really aren't all that different, but anyway, I digress. That is the war they have with themselves. Like, yeah, maybe not Chad, maybe not her specifically. But a lot of ladies struggle with that. On the one hand, they say, oh no, this is toxic and bad and terrible. But then it's like, oh, but like, why are my jimmies rustled? I didn't make this struggle. That's what they deal with. The point is, and it's a very simple, clear, and obvious point being made. That's not sexual assault. And you don't need to paint Sneako as some I'm gonna be honest, villainous man who wants her to be sexually assaulted to say that what he did was wrong and untoward and unnecessary. You can just say it's hilariously immature, and you could have made that point a lot better without doing all of that goofy nonsense. Of course, Sneako would probably retort with, it's definitely entertainment for the live stream chat audience. He's trying to be charismatic, if not charismatic. He's trying to be entertaining at the very least in order to continue to have engagement. But whether we accept that be his response or not, the long and short is, that's not sexual assault. And you don't need to misrepresent what he did to say that it was wrong. Anyhow, continue. Go ahead and wrap us up, my new male brother.
Like I said, there are creators who I disagree with, and then there are people like Sneako who actively threaten other creators on YouTube, spread hate speech, and overall make YouTube a less enjoyable and more dangerous place for everybody who's on it. Not to mention that this clip alone obviously violates YouTube's community guidelines around harassment.
Now, the reality is, none of those things that he just said is true. Sneako didn't do that during his time on YouTube where he would actively threaten people, and saying that Chat needs a good dicking down isn't a threat. If anything, it's a reward. It's not a reward because he did anything nice, but the idea that Chat would enjoy having sex with someone that she finds attractive, which is the entire context of the point that Sneako was making to begin with, by the way, is absurd. For numerous different reasons. One of the most important reasons why this is absurd is because it's something that's not only taken completely out of context, but it's then coupled with something that just is false and untrue. Sneako didn't do that. He was certainly immature in a lot of different ways. He was certainly filled with a lot of anger and rage, and he would certainly say a lot of untoward things. But threaten people, harass people, he didn't do that. But it really doesn't matter now, does it? Because that's not a part of the narrative now, is it? You have to make Sneako look like a villain in order to justify him being banned. Now again, like I said, what annoys me about this video is the fact that it came out about a month ago to the time, obviously, I'm uploading it. And Sneako has indeed been banned. Now, I don't know the particulars about it. If you want me to be honest with you, I don't care, because it's not really what's important. What's important is the fact that, beyond to Sneako to Andrew Tate, which is 2, we would need a 3 in order to really establish a pattern. But we actually don't need a third Manospherian person to be cancelled for us to establish a pattern, because lots of people have been cancelled prior to this point. Numerous videos on cancel culture and deplatforming have already existed on YouTube that are a lot better than mine, are going to be viewed a lot more than mine. The problem that I'm having, though, is the fact that a lot of this stuff, or at least what is annoying to me, enough to make me want to make this video, is the fact that they're drones. This new male here is not his own personal thinker. He's just regurgitating stuff he heard from other people. He's not thinking critically. He's not being honest even to himself and to his audience about what just occurred. We witnessed what occurred. And it's as if he has some type of brain virus that prevents him from seeing reality for what it is. It's something that, I guess I can't really call it a mental illness. It's something I can't really even put into words. But it's this eerie feeling that I'm starting to see and starting to get. When people are so entrenched in their ideology that the ideology substitutes what's true for what they want to be true or what is supposed to be true, at least according to whatever their nonsense is at the time. It's actually, like I say, remarkably terrifying that an individual can see that and then whoop-de-woo to sexual assault and harassment, when technically speaking, harassment is something that has to occur over a period of time. It's not a one-off instance. But I guess, colloquially, we can just say you're being harassed if someone is annoying you at one point in time. However, this still isn't even a fair assessment. Untoward as it was, immature certainly, and definitely not conducive or helpful to anything, what Sneako did there probably isn't, or should have never been, good enough to warrant a banning. And being deceitful and lying is not the path, I believe, to actually solving any social issue or any problem that people are having. Deplatforming in general has never done that. It's never solved anything. If anything, it's just galvanized people and to make them believe that the powers that be are actually really evil. And the point that they were making before was totally correct. Because if it wasn't true, why would the powers that be feel the need in order to ban it and delete it and to not show it? This is, of course, conspiracy territory, and I get that 100%, but I'm more explaining the mindset behind the Streisand effect, or the mindset behind people that don't lose or don't become disenfranchised from some of their content creators being banned. They don't lose the ideas. If anything, they become strengthened and more galvanized because they see someone being deplatformed as confirmation that there's something wrong in the matrix, so to speak, or there's something wrong in the world, that these people really were speaking truth to power and somebody got scared. When in reality, what these guys are really doing was not helping anyone but themselves, which will certainly be the topic of the next video. So, with that being said, I certainly hope you guys got something out of today's video. It's not as insightful as I wanted it to be, but the next one should be a little bit more. But I didn't want to spend too much time on this, because if I were to put the two videos together, it'd be like 40 minutes long. What's important is I did want to show you guys a strong example of just kind of the zombified mentality that, yeah, I'm referencing Falling in Reverse's song, but like this zombified drone mentality of just marching to whatever ideology that the liberals, I guess, currently have. It's not the liberals, the social justice warriors, you know, these Numales, whatever it is. It's just like they're not thinking, they're just reacting, they're just responding. They're not being critical. It's almost like they're not people. I mean, you just go back to the NPC meme. It's terrifying, but at the same time, I don't think that the manosphere, Sneako, Andrew Tate included, and other people in the manosphere haven't done their due diligence in actually protecting themselves and their ideals. Because what they're actually asking for isn't a solution, and honestly isn't good unto itself, which again will be the subject of the next video. So with that being said, I certainly hope you guys got something out of today's video, and if you did, you know, go and click the like button. Shoot, go and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.